Are you prepared? Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving into the World Championship Series Americas Edition. And boy, have we got a group for you guys. My name is Fear Dragon. I am joined by Nathaniel, so the most guttural Americas around. We actually held a competition to see who could do the most guttural Americas. And Nathaniel's got second to his first place impression. He actually also got first place. He got second and first place. That's how good it was.
That's true. I did it as two different personalities.
We just gave him the prize pool for first and second place because he's so good at them. But, of course, ladies and gentlemen, WCS Winter, an awesome, awesome event. If you guys are coming in for the European broadcast, you should already know all this. But if you're coming in just now and somehow you missed out every single one of the other groups, then you might not know the format for WCS Winter. It's pretty simple. I'll break it down for you. 32 players managed to qualify for this group stage. And now these groups of 4 players each. 2 players will advance on to make the second group stage, which will be the same kind of format for those groups. 8 players will advance on from that to a good old round robin, and 6 players in the round robin will be seated single file line down through the bracket for a King of the Hill top 6 offline finals.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. And of course, these guys are going to be playing for an awesome prize pool of about $60,000. And that's $60,000 per region, not $30,000 per, or, you know, split between the 2 regions. $60,000 per region. So it's $120,000 total for WCS Winter. And that's $12,000 for first place, $675 for any players that get knocked out of here. Nate, what's the second thing you would buy with $675?
$675 the second thing I would
Because I know you said yogurt for the first.
Yeah, I mean, $675.
The yogurt's out of stock.
With popcorn at the movies for a good while.
Yeah, for like a good 4 or 5 days.
All into one big movie gift card, so I couldn't spend it on anything else. You know what I'm saying?
I could definitely get on board with that. There's some great movies out right now.
Yeah.
Of course, guys, I mentioned this group today. This is a group that a lot of people are probably excited for because we got the legendary Haas playing.
Group H for Haas.
Oh, boy. Haas, our biggest joker around. He is here just to incite madness into everyone's lives. And he's going to be facing off versus CyArk, an amazing and awesome Japanese Terran player. The Japanese StarCraft scene showing up. CyArk actually just coming in off of a victory in WESG, where he got first place and I think qualified for WSG. And of course, following up that series, we are going to be moving into Puck versus Firefly. Firefly, a Chinese Protoss player, and Puck, of course, American Protoss.
So global. So many players from all over, of course. Puck coming in hot from North Dakota as we get into our first match here. It is going to be... So that turns this way. This is Taiwan versus Japan.
This is Taiwan. Yeah, this is a very Asian group because we got Taiwan, we got Japan, we got China, and we got Puck, who sometimes listens to K-pop. So basically Korean. Basically Korean.
That's how we do it here in Americas.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show on the road. Kairos Junction for map number 1 is going to be down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. The man whose brain cannot be contained in this plane of existence. He is Haas from J-Team, Taiwanese team.
Nice. He faces off against our blue Terran in the northwest. He is CyArk. Nishimura Naohiro.
You're a braver man than I, Nate.
To try and pronounce it?
Yeah. By the way, we already have Haas scouting around for proxies, going for the usual gate or the wall off at the top of the ramp to try and prevent the Reaper from getting any kind of extra scouting information moving into that main, base. But Haas, definitely a player with a big reputation of playing weird.
Yeah. You just set my brain back off to Taylor Swift. I'm sorry. He does have a big reputation. I'm interested to see what he's going to bring because Haas always gives us fun games. It's one thing that's guaranteed. He could go out 0-2, 0-4 in this group, and every game would probably still be clipped and posted on Reddit at some point. He's a karma farm, ladies and gentlemen, because he does funny stuff. He's a very fun player to follow. Also, interesting to note, CyArk going for a Marine first. So this looks to me like it's going to be maybe 1 or 2 Marines, quick factory. This looks like Reactor Hellion expand from the old days. There's the reactor. Okay, he didn't get a second Marine. Sometimes you see the second Marine, then you go factory reactor. But this could just be like, I want to have more Marines to deal with an Oracle, if that was to come.
Yep. There are sort of two trains of thoughts, I think, on how best to play versus a player like Haas who does so many weird builds. One train of thought is just play ultra safe and standard and normal, because that's exactly what usually is able to beat a lot of the weirdness. But I think a lot of Haas's builds, and this is the other train of thought, is that a lot of Haas's builds are tailored around what people normally do. And as crazy and insane as Haas seems, he does always have this kind of spark of brilliance, and you kind of get to see, oh, you know, I do see where he was going with that. I see why this might have been a thing or why he was planning something like that. So if you are just playing super safe and standard, in some ways you are also playing into his hands. You're putting yourself in a situation where he's planning you are doing that, and that's why his build will work. So yeah, I really want to know how CyArk handles this. There is a Twilight Council order coming up, but this is so far a normal looking opening from Haas.
Yeah, very straight up, very standard so far. I mean, I expect to see quick blink. Although, if it's Haas, it could... No, he's... Wow. Did Haas become normal? Did someone, like...
You know, it's funny because Haas...
Inception on him or something?
The thing that people sometimes forget about Haas is that he does occasionally play normal. I think that is an important thing about Haas, is that he has such a reputation as playing weird. And one of the biggest ways you can take advantage of that is just to play normal. It's not. I'm not going to paint his normal standard Protoss play as being on par with, say, like a Showtimes or something, but it's good enough that he can sometimes take advantage of players playing overly safe versus him.
Indeed. And it can cause your opponent to psych themselves out, so you're not wrong. Wondering what this Japanese Terran versus Protoss metagame looks like, though. Stalkers are going to start bullying those Marines, those poor Marines, Fear Dragon.
Tank is already sieged up. Is going to soften up one of those Stalkers, push it back the other one.
And there's the Raven. So this could still turn into one of those like extremely standard 2-base Marine tank SCV pushes that we see pretty much all the time. Interesting to note that CyArk did not take a fast gas on his natural. So he can't build Ravens and tanks at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
He has to wait. That Raven's halfway done before he can start his tank. Okay. I was talking about this when we were doing the TvT yesterday, but if you want to play very techie like that, he's probably going to have to build maybe wait and then build a Banshee or a Medevac out of the starport. He can't get another Raven.
Okay, Probe moves its way over to the third base. Did Haas just reveal he's going for a fast third base as well? Okay.
This is standard, but I'm interested to see if he's going to try and make the push now. Now that he knows it's a very standard build. He's going to go for a Viking, actually, after the tank.
Yeah, Haas, of course, he did see that there was a siege tank there, and he saw a handful of those Marines. Picking off a few of them is nice, but Haas will have vision of any move-outs from CyArk anytime in the immediate future. Rallying a few more Stalkers across the map. He's getting up charge, getting a +1 armor so those Zealots will survive a little bit longer, and adding on his gateways. This is really standard looking from Haas.
Yep. He's going to start doing some poking. Does eat a few tank shots there, realizes, okay, time to get out of here. But CyArk, is he going to play?
What's the third CC?
Okay, no, there's the extra barracks. I'm like, why is he taking another gas after a third command? So I don't know, he's building another. So it's just going to be a very slow bio build out of our Japanese Terran player. This does have me a little bit concerned, because now we're going to see Haas probably get on the aggressive side. He has a Prism coming out. Only thing I don't like about Haas's build is, and I just say this, I think you can almost always get away with Double Forge. Double Forge is really good. Yep. I'm not going to complain because he's going for armor, which I think is better than going for just attack. So it's like, if you're going to get one Forge, then you should dump the Chronos into the armor. But yeah, because look at this. The engineering bays are just now starting. This looks like it's a very like turtley sort of, I would say NA style actually looking Terran versus Protoss build here.
Well, Raven and the Viking are going to be over here, and they could potentially be sniped off if Haas jumps in. There's not a lot of units there to defend it. One of these SCVs gets picked off. Oh my god, if he gets the Raven, one more hit.
Well, drops the turrets. They do kill some stuff, but that's really bad.
2 Stalkers for a Raven is a beautiful trade there, and keeps the Observer alive. Well, this is just a great game so far for Haas.
Haas's second Warp Prism is coming out now, by the way. And he is just cranking out the Zealots. 15 so far.
Yep, got one War Prism moving over to the main base with a bunch of these Zealots. And remember, these Zealots are going to have +1 armor well before +1 weapons finishes up here for CyArk, so they're going to be surviving quite a bit of time.
Those Zealots are going to be heckin' chonkers against these Marines.
No gas geysers in the natural for Haas. This is all about just mass Zealot production, taking a 4th base alongside this because you know what? He hasn't been able to dump all of his minerals into Zealots, so he's going to just dump the rest of it into more Nexus. Comes in the harassment in the main base.
Oh, goodness. So many Zealots inside of the main base now of CyArk. The Zealots going to charge on top of the siege tanks and the Marines up front. Widowmine's getting a couple of shots off, but does not appear to be quite enough just yet. Prism's going to pick up that sentry, saving it with a Guardian Shield.
Oh.
And Zealots are ripping apart the main base. SCV's going down, going for the SCVs, building the additional barracks, getting the siege tanks inside of the main base, and also eventually going for those add-ons.
Okay, we end up having the Viking attacking that War Prism. Does manage to net the kill there, but losing a lot of workers in the process and still taking more damage in the production. Oh, Stim gets denied. Combat Shield gets denied. And suddenly, what on earth is CyArk going to do about the fact that Haas is not even all-in? This isn't all-in only in the sense that he delayed his tech. He's taking a 4th base behind all of this. So there is a big transition. It's an economic transition behind this.
Either. Ouch.
Oh, Lord. That is the thing that makes this situation go from bad to worse. But he scans, he sees, oh, you got a fully saturated 3rd. But he might be seeing some of those probes long distance mining to that 4th base and thinking, are you kidding me? You're on 4 bases? I'm still on 2 right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
not
is
looking all that good, Kev.
Yeah, this is a really, really cool stout from Haas. And he's gone up now to 71, or soon to be 71 workers. Sure, +1/+1 finishes up for CyArk, and he still does have his 3rd orbital command, but how on earth is he going to safely establish that? He needs to be very hunkered down, turtled in, have his units very bunched up, since there is still that 2nd War Prism out on the map as well.
Oh, yeah, look at this.
Oh, boy.
Rude runs the Zealots through to drag the Widowmine shots over the Marines. And Haas, cleaving and weaving his way through this Terran force, is going to take game number 1. GG.
Well done. The mass Zealot style working out quite well in this first game. And while not necessarily the same brand of super duper fast all-in from Haas that we usually see, does have its own little unique twist on it. Just getting up the double War Prism, going for a lot of Zealots, and super fast expansions.
Yeah. I mean, that's your standard Protoss bread and butter, right? It's you go for the Nexus, Cybercore, Twilight, Blink, 3rd. Stalker's kind of contain. He realizes that Terran's playing defensively, snipes the Raven. He's like, all right, 4th. And then that's, you know.
But I think the big thing for me was the fact that after that, just delaying the 3rd and 4th gas geysers for so long, and actually never, even toward the end of that game, he still didn't have his 3rd and 4th gas geysers.
Oh, no, you're just building Zealots.
Exactly. You're only making Zealots off of just that mass of gateways. But it's cool because he does still have the economy to fall back to.
That's how you do it. That mass gateway style is really good. There's a reason why so many people do it. And I feel like you kind of had to be careful with it. But because CyArk delayed his +1 attack so long, just having +1 armor was fine.
Yeah. And now we get ready to move into game number 2, New Repugnancy. So with a player like Haas, I do have to mention.
Does Haas meme now?
I do have to mention the New Repugnancy. Not a terrible map for cannons, but again, PvT, one of the matchups that we see fewer cannons on. I know that we still see them though, and we still see some of the Proxy Tempest memes and stuff. I'm interested. I really don't know what Haas is going to have prepared for us.
I think everybody watching wants Haas to cheese. So, Haas, please cheese. Cheese for all the fans out there.
Maybe he's hiding builds for the round of 16.
I heard the Can Man's in the chat. Can Fam wants to see some cheese. Can we bring out the cheddar for the Can Fam?
Dude, did you see M. Canning's tweet earlier today?
Of course. He's so good.
He's so good. I love watching him.
So great. So humble and graceful.
So humble.
Yes.
Starting down here, ladies and gentlemen, in the bottom left-hand corner of the map from Japan, the best player in Japan, he is CyArk. Cyclops Athlete Gaming.
He is good at the game indeed. His opponent in the northeast, in blue, he's Haas. He's going to play straight up again, Ravi.
You think so?
Strategy this WCS 2019 is to debate everyone. He's going to make everybody just believe that he plays normal, and then the first circuit event's going to happen.
He's going to play normal until the finals. and then he goes up against Cyril, and then he's going to bust out all of the creativity. And that's how
And he'll still lose, by the way. Because Cyril will, at that point, of course, have, you know, he'll be playing something even more advanced than 3D Chinese checkers.
That is pretty advanced. 4D Chinese checkers.
Yep.
So we got barracks on the way. We got gate expand here from Haas, rattling his workers into the gas geyser. Like you said, everything looking nice, normal, and standard. No shenanigans from Haas, but it is going to be CyArk that actually throws down the factory before throwing down his command center. And the depot is down, and the probe gets up.
Maybe he wants him to come inside. Oh, if you'd rallied the Marine north, you could have guaranteed the probe kill. Instead, he will just watch it run away in futility. Oh.
Unless... Oh my god, he's baiting the Marine forward.
Probe styling on.
Because he knows the Adept is coming.
Is that a pupper?
Oh no, sorry, that's... No.
That one critter on the map looked like a doggo.
It looks like
no,
it is a dog. It was a dog.
Yeah, it looked like doggos.
You're right. I thought it was a cat.
I never noticed that this map had doggos. That's pretty great.
This is now your new favorite map.
This is officially my new favorite.
You do have Puppy, which kind of
changed my life.
Changes your life. Changes your viewpoint on life.
You know how nice it is? Finish casting, go home, and then dog just like jumps up and licks my face. It's the best. It's the best feeling in the world, Field Dragon.
Yeah. Go from Twitch chat to that. That's a pretty nice change.
Yeah.
You love me.
Twitch.
You truly love me.
Whenever I get on break, you know, when I'm done with this series and I go sit in the green room and watch you and Zarby cast the next match, Twitch chat will not jump up and lick my face in joy and happiness of.
Can I tell you my favorite message I have read from the entirety of WCS Winter from Twitch chat so far?
Bring it.
Someone earnestly and honestly seemed to be asking, why is Cyril allowed to play in Europe? Why isn't he playing in Americas?
To be fair, it does feel like there's a pretty loose definition of Americas.
What do you mean?
As a region,
Americas is very clearly just China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Japan, India,
Australia,
Singapore. New Zealand, Singapore, North and South America.
Probably Greenland. Greenland might be in there too. I don't know. Haven't checked if we have any.
And sometimes Germany.
Yeah. That's true. War Prism is on the way for Haas again this game. He has gone for a different strategy this time around. No blink, no charge. Probably just going to try to hit really fast with Warp Gate and just maybe bowl him over with a bunch of vanilla stalkers and zealots.
Yeah, I mean, he saw the timing on the command center on the low ground, so he knows this isn't as committed of a 1-1-1 attack, but there is going to be pretty quick cloak Banshees coming on out for CyArk. Still needs to start up that Banshee, and there it is. So Haas with the robotics facility can start up a observer. Already has one.
He has the observer. It sees that there's a mine and a cyclone. These are both important because if he flies the warp prism over that cyclone or the mine, it'll just die instantly.
Yep. And very important, if CyArk does scan this observer, he could potentially pick it off with that cyclone, but I don't think he's aware of it. He doesn't quite see it. That would be a really nice pickoff if you're going for a Banshee player.
So he gets the fast prism, but I guess he's not actually thinking about attacking in a huge way. He's going to bring some adepts to harass. But he's getting a forge. He has a Twilight now. He's building observers as his follow-up, and he's going to go straight into charge.
Gets the kill on that observer, by the way. So I think you mentioned another observer that popped out. Yeah, he's got 2 more observers, so he should be fine on detection as long as he's in position with those.
Remember Pig Baby?
I do.
That built 7 observers versus Tasia in WCS America.
I actually still, when I try playing standard, I still go for just mass observers, man. It is such a good feeling versus Terran to just have complete map vision.
Yeah. My favorite, ever since they added the siege mode to observers, is all the Protoss who usually F2A to deal with your cloaked stuff. They get really mad because they have to unsiege their observers to bring them around. I've had games someone's like, my observers aren't coming when I select all army. I'm like, yeah, because you siege them everywhere for extra vision.
You know, whenever I hear those stories, it makes me really happy that I have never used F2. I unbound it as soon as it came out.
I have it unbound. I'll occasionally click on it, but
I don't even think I've clicked on it before. Maybe like once or twice on accident.
Well, I didn't realize that you had the constitution of like, I don't know.
Because it wasn't in
who in history has had the greatest constitution of will? You, Fear Dragon.
That's it.
You're a Protoss player who doesn't use F2 ever. That,
well, yeah.
You may very well get a Medal of Honor one day for that.
Everything is already in my one control group. I don't need enough two. I don't need a second F2.
That's not what your following's supposed to be.
All right, third base on the way here for Haas. Finally, we end up having those Banshees make their way along the north side of the map. Have plenty of energy built up for that cloak play, and with a decent number of stalkers out, Haas should be able to defend this, but he's got 3 stalkers in his natural, 3 stalkers in his main base. Where is the observer in the main? Hard to spot.
By the way, can I just give a shout out to the Artosis pylon on 3 warp gates in a robotics facility in Haas's main?
He's just trying to plug the pylon show, man. Oh, wow, I love this.
Haas is just on top of that.
Oh, man. Unfortunately, Blink wasn't finished, so you, of course, can't just jump on the Banshees. But I actually really love that's a small, subtle thing where sometimes the Observer's the thing that's trailing just a bit too far behind to see the Banshees. So leaving the Observer a bit further to the left, but keeping the Stalkers on the right, and just guarantees, yeah, you're probably going to be able to stay on top of those Banshees with the Observer.
Yep. Well, especially since they buffed the Observer movement speed, it's just easier to follow the Banshees because they used to be a lot faster than that.
Have you seen the clip of Juggernaut and Jason following around, or just moving an Observer around the map with the soundtrack for an F1 car? No?
I have,
okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Fast and Furious is the name of StarCraft.
Those Observers move pretty fast if you get that upgrade. But okay, we got decent number of Widow Mines out for CyArk. +1 armor is now finished up here for Haas. He's mining off that third base, as pro players usually do. Remember that the third command center, Orbital Command, is finished up here for CyArk, but he doesn't feel comfortable actually establishing that just yet.
Nope. I'd love to see some more chrono boosts dumped into the armor upgrades since we have so many zealots on the field for Haas. But he's going to transition into Colossus. We have the first one on the way. Extended Thermal Lance.
Or Prism still loaded up with these 3 Zealots ready to move in at some point, but the Vikings are saying no for now. This is such an interesting army. Just the mass number of charge lots with a single sentry here to Guardian Shield.
I mean, if you've got he does have the upgrade advantage, but one thing I like out of CyArk is he's pulling a tab out of Nathanius's book. Whenever he plays Bio, he still plays it like mech. You know, you build a bunch of bunkers everywhere, you get a ton of mines, missile turrets, and that is actually really good versus the Zealot stuff.
Yeah.
Because you can't really splash your units when they're inside of the bunker. I like it. This map really promotes this style. He seems to want to play a very slow Bio-verse Protoss where he says, you're going to go to the late game, whatever. Do you know how good Marauders with upgrades are when I max out? And he's, I don't know. I think Terran needs to put on more pressure than this, but
Stalkers are out of position, by the way, for the Banshees as they make their way into the third base. Going to get a decent number of worker kills. Stalkers do have Blink, so they can blink to the low ground. There it is. One of the Banshees runs out of energy, but still 12 workers killed is really nice. Doesn't focus far down anymore, but that does actually equalize the worker supply.
That's pretty good. That's a good play. Now the third command center's landed, but the fourth Nexus is almost done. For Haas, he's going to be able to build 4 probes at a time. That'll help him catch up. And look at this. As 1-1 gets close to finishing, CyArk's got the armory on the way. Ghost Academy, second starport. You know what? You know what's going to be next? Fusion Core. Boom, there it is. Chitty chitty bang bang. Fusion Core coming out. He's going to get Liberator range.
Has to be careful before, though. The 2 Colossus making their way forward with a big Zealot ground force, a buffer. Sending off a few Zealots, a buffer on top of those Bio units. The Widow Mines go off and friendly fire quite a bit. The Stalker count is also pretty decent. And that third base is going to be lifted off CyArk.
Those bunkers need to be shifted to the right now that he has that base, I think. Really important. Like, maybe get rid of the bottommost bunker and then rebuild 2 on the right side if you're going to do this style.
Haas has the Warp Prism on the north side so that he can reinforce with a bunch of Zealots. What's kind of interesting is that he's still going to be walking through a lot of Widow Mines if he actually does that with all these Zealots coming in from the north. I think also we had a medevac with 2 Widow Mines going for a drop. Haas does scout that out with the Zealots.
Prisms in the natural, heading towards the main.
Yeah, natural, not juicy enough of a target. Unloads in the main. Warps in some more Zealots, can go after the Ghost Academy, could even go after that Fusion Core if he really wants to.
Yep. Well, Terran is weakest when you're on top of their production, and I think that's one of the reasons why you'll see a lot of players take that Prism into the main base, because if you kill Marines and Marauders trickling out of barracks, they die super easily, right? If you go into the natural, then Terran lets like one production wave bunch together, and suddenly those Zealots are a lot less effective.
Yep. I think the Warp Prism did get picked off maybe by the Vikings from earlier.
The Prism with the Vikings.
But this third base has just been denied so much mine time. Workers going down. The Colossus have gotten so many kills. 11 kills, 12 kills, 13 kills, a couple kills here, and oh my god, CyArk is just falling apart now.
This micro from Haas has been very good, by the way.
He's been playing really on point for a not exactly 100% super standard in the first game, but second game, very standard play.
His observer can see the mines. I don't know, I feel like the first game was actually kind of standard as well. He's played very straight up this series. He has not shown anything really out of the ordinary, I would say, by any means.
Yeah, it's been pretty normal looking games from Haas so far. And we're going to see Haas just content. He says, well, I just killed a lot of workers that you just pulled. I can pull back, reinforce, and then go again with a sixth Colossus. CyArk is sitting at close to half the supply. He scans and says, well, at least you don't have a fourth base. Wrong base, though. Wrong base.
Yeah. GG. GG. Haas takes the 2-0 victory.
Well done by Haas, and I guess he's kind of just saving his builds, you know? No need to reveal it if you feel confident.
Maybe that's just what he does now. Maybe Haas turned over a new leaf. He climbed the 10th.
You know what's cool is that this is going to be the question that everyone is asking, though. This is going to be the question that everyone is saying, like, okay, is he just playing a bit more standard now? I'm sure he's still doing something weird, but maybe he is just playing more standard. But is that just him hiding builds or not?
Maybe
either way, it gets in your head.
Maybe he just plays standard versus Terran because he just feels very comfortable in the matchup. Maybe he doesn't feel like he needs to do anything that weird.
That's entirely possible. And of course, these are all questions that everyone in this group will be asking themselves as he goes into other games, being Protoss versus Protoss.
The rest of his matches would be PvP.
Exactly.
He wins.
It's 3 Protoss in this group and 1 Zerg player, and one Terran player, and the other Terran player was CyArk. So with Haas moving into the winners match, he is going to be 1 game away from moving on to the group stage number 2. CyArk moving down to that losers match is going to be facing an elimination point here. See if he can make it a little bit further. But ladies and gentlemen, our next match, we're going to be moving into a Protoss versus Protoss. Hope you guys are ready for some PvP because we got a few of them coming up today. It's going to be Puck versus Firefly.
Puck is going to be going up against Firefly. Do you know anything about Firefly?
I don't actually know too much about Firefly. He is a Chinese Protoss player, and there is a reputation, for example, with Haas, right? Haas and Nice, the Taiwanese Protoss players, have a bit of a weird playstyle sometimes. Obviously, I say that right after we just saw a very normal-looking game, right? But typically, the Taiwanese Protoss players have that reputation. Chinese Protoss players, I don't really think they have that. I think their Chinese scene is, for the most part, played a lot like the Korean players.
Yeah. All right. Interested to see where they go as we wrap up our first match in Group H for Haas here in WCS Winter Americas.
Yep. We'll see you guys in that next match, Protoss versus Protoss.